So here we are in our editor. Again, together with this series, you have access to the exercise files. We have columns folder, we have content folder, both of which contain basically static content for the column and static content for the content of the page, for the main content of the page. Now, you can ignore this and populate the content from a database. For the purpose of this exercise, we're going to be using static files to load them onto the into the template. Then we have obviously a CSS folder with the core.css, and then we have index.php, which has the structure of our page. As you saw, the template, the structure is very simple. You obviously would have something more interesting than what I've done here, but this is just the exercise, obviously. Then we have a JS folder with the latest version of jQuery and core.js, which currently is just a blank file. Now, if we create a new folder inside of our root directory and call it a template, now what we're going to do is copy everything from the, cut everything from the index.php and paste it inside of the file which we create inside of the template as well. We're going to call it template as well.php this time and paste the entire content inside of this file. Now we can save the template for the time being and go back to our index.php. Inside of our index.php, we start with the opening PHP tag and we go for defined. We're going to define a few constants. We're going to go for ds, for directory separator. So if it's defined, we do nothing. Then if it's not, we define the new constant called ds, and it's going to be simply directory separator. Just to make it obviously a little bit shorter than the whole constant itself. Okay, next one, I'm just going to copy all this to save a little bit of time here. Next constant is going to be called root path, root underscore path. And again, we're going to paste in the define function. And the root path will go for real path. Inside of the real path, we will use dir name. And we go for the file constant. And that's it. Now we go for require once, and what we're going to be using is our constant root path, then .ds directory separator, then folder classes, then .ds.helper.php, which is going to be one of the classes we're going to create, and the only class actually, which we're going to create during this series of these videos. Then next we created a variable called page equals, and by default my first page will be wyg. What you you get what you give, which is basically one of the tunes of the band, the lyrics we put onto the content of one of the pages. Then we go for URI equals server request underscore URI, and now we check if is an empty URI. Then what we do, we go for the first character, which is substring, and we're going to use our URI starting from 0, ending 1 after, so basically just first character that we want to retrieve. And now we check if first equals /, then what we do is URI equals substring, and we go for our URI, and we want to start from the first character, meaning basically omitting the first /. And I'm going to create a few new lines here. And now we check if is an empty URI, meaning if there were some other parameters after obviously the first / after the domain name, then what we do URI equals explode, and we're going to be exploding everything using question mark if there are any dynamic parameters URI. And now we go for URI equals explode with the /, and we're looking for the first item in this array. Obviously if there weren't any question marks, then obviously there will be just one item inside of this URI array, because using the explode function we obviously create an array. Then we go for URI, and obviously we want the 0 index from this array, which is the first one. And then we go for page equals array shift, and we go for URI. So we want the first item from this array, and we assign this to the page. Okay, now let's go for the content. equals array, and content will be right. For right, we're going to use helper, get content, and we go for page as parameter, and then we go for left, helper, get column, and also page as parameter. So that's our array. Now we go for another if statement. This time we check if isn't empty, get Ajax. Then we echo JSON encode content. Otherwise, we simply require our template. So we go for template /template.php. Okay, so this is basically when we're going to be using Ajax. When we click on the link, we're going to send this Ajax parameter in the URL to indicate that we only want the JSON array, basically. Otherwise, if the page has been reloaded by basically putting the URL in a URL field and hitting enter, or refreshing the page, then we want the template to be obviously loaded instead with the entire structure of the page. So that's our index.php. Let's move to the next video.